Hi there, welcome back to my channel. This is Chris. I hope you're doing great. I wanted to make this little video because the other day I woke up thinking, why am I shooting Fuji? What makes Fuji Fuji? Why do I love it so much? And I thought maybe I could convey this love for the brand and tell you what are my 10 reasons why I stay with Fuji and why I love it so much. So here they are. The first thing is the retro look. It does have a retro look. I mean, here I have, for example, the XT series, XT3, but XT2. They all look very similar, so they keep the same look. And it has that look that looks a little bit like, if you take, for example, my old Minolta from 1966, that's an old school camera right here. It looks very similar, you know, it has this bump on top here. It has the same kind of boxy shape and it looks retro. Other brands did this retro look, but I find Fuji to work the best and to be able to incorporate everything that we would need in a digital modern camera into this old school look. So yeah, I think this is my very first point, the looks. Point number 2, the dial on top, the ISO, the shutter speed, and all the other controls that are all over the camera. Yeah, that's right. I love that. And that is one of the reasons why I will not change to any other brand. And one of the reasons why I came into this brand originally with the XT10. The fact that you can control the ISO, the shutter speed, the fact that you can change the EV compensation, the fact that you can change from manual to single focus, that you have the little dial specifically for that, and that you can change pretty much everything at a glance directly on your body, makes a big difference. And I know that I speak for a lot of Fuji shooters out there when I say this is one of the top features on Fujifilm cameras. The third point is the aperture ring. That is a massive important thing for me. Having it there and being able to see the same as for the dials really just changes everything to me. Point number 4 is the film simulation straight out of the camera. This is just great because they worked out their color science so that you have different looks and it's not just saturated, flat, sharp. It's really just a film simulation that makes your JPEGs look like you're shooting on film. And that's something that we love, the fact that you can add the grain, the fact that you can add different contrast. You know, you can really work out your photos straight out of the camera. And for someone that doesn't own, let's say, Lightroom, or that doesn't want to spend hours, or that just doesn't want to spend time on a computer doing touch-ups, you can get great JPEGs straight out of your camera. Point number 5, the build quality. Fuji does take the extra mile here on the quality of their lenses and the quality of their bodies because they really are resistant to a lot of elements out there. For example, my 10-24 here or my 56 f1.2 that's always glued on my camera, they really did last for many years. I bought these in 2017 and they're still going strong. These are the lenses I use pretty much every day regularly for my professional shoots and I don't miss a beat. So I have to say the fact that they're built so well and they're not plasticky or cheap feeling or any of that makes you more comfortable with the use of the camera and makes it look more professional, but also it makes it look more retro, which ties in with the first point of this video. Point number 6, the optical quality of the image that comes out of these lenses. Fujifilm makes very good lenses, the Fujinon lenses. These are not necessarily better than Sony lenses or Canon lenses, but whatever lens you buy from Fuji is high quality, be it from the build quality, like I just said before, but also in terms of optical quality. And that is something really cool because you know that if you take a Fujinon lens, for example, the 10-24 is a wide angle zoom lens that I use for real estate every single week, at least twice a week. And it is not cheap. It doesn't come cheap. Even when you take the first version, it is still quite expensive in terms of price. But if you take a Canon lens, I remember using Canon lenses and having the ring here that would start falling apart or things that would just not work properly after a few years because they were very plasticky. They were very cheap price-wise, but you don't retain the same quality that you would retain and have in terms of image quality and resistance with Fujinon lenses. Point number 7 is how good these cameras are for candid photography. When you shoot candid, it's better to have a camera, first of all, that is mirrorless, because shooting candid with a DSLR is not that candid anymore. It becomes very big. be it in terms of noise, but also in terms of looks. So having something a little bit more retro looking, again, ties in with the first point of this video, but also having something that is very discreet, such as the X Pro series, or the X100 series, or even the XE4, little brick like this that fits in your pocket, and people will not feel attacked, if I can call it that way. For example, when you shoot a wedding and you go close with an 18mm, which is very wide, you go close to the bride and groom or any guest, you don't feel like you're invading their space, and they're not feeling attacked on the other end. And this is based on a survey, because I did ask many people, what do you think about these cameras? And they tell you, well, you look like a guest, you know, you don't really look like the professional photographer. And that is exactly the looks I'm going for. And Fuji is allowing me to do that. Point number 8, the variety of choice. There are a lot of cameras, starting from the EVF/OVF hybrids, such as the X Pro or the X100 series, that allow you to shoot rangefinder style, where you can actually shoot through an OVF rather than the EVF, and you can have both, so it's hybrid. You have the XT series, which is the one I have here, XT2, XT3, XT4. Those are more for professional type of work, at least in my opinion. You have the GFX sensor, which is a medium format sensor for more professional work. And again, it gives you that top-notch quality of photos that goes all the way up to 102 megapixel sensors. So you really can go up and down. You have the XE4 series that is more compact, and also for the looks, the XS10, as well as the XH2S and XH2 that just came out. That's more for workhorse and for people that come from other brands. So it really covers everything you would want to see in a lineup for every type of shooter. No matter who you are and what you shoot, you will find the right Fuji for you. Point number 9, the philosophy and history of this brand. This brand comes a long way. They used to make film stock, and that was what we used to shoot on. Obviously, you had other brands like Kodak, but that's what your look of your photos would be, and that would give that feel to your photos. And that is something that is cool to have on a brand. The fact of being able to go back way in the past and have that history and have that philosophy that they kept throughout their lineup of this old school looking cameras, but also the film simulations, that makes it very much tying into the history of the brand. Last but not least, point number 10, it is helpful to learn. This brand specifically, as I said, has the dials everywhere, the aperture ring. Everything is tactile and you can see it. And when you're learning to shoot and you want to learn the exposure triangle, for example, it is very simple to see how a stop of, for example, aperture can make a difference versus a stop of ISO or a stop in the shutter speed. And you can really play around with those elements, seeing how they interact with each other and how they work. It's less theoretical, it is less of a number up there somewhere, but it's more of a visual thing where you can actually see how they work together, how they play together to get the perfect image and to make photos, not just to take photos. That is an important point right there. So these are the 10 reasons I came up with in terms of why I love this brand so much, why I think it's an amazing brand, and why I came to it. And maybe that can help you decide if you want to switch from another brand or not. There, if you have any question, write down in the comment section below. I'll answer it as fast as possible. And like always, keep shooting, have fun, and see you in my next video. Cheers.